Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakaha Kodash Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and in this video, I'll be profiling a clip from WION's YouTube channel titled Russia's Bid for Arctic Dominance, and Russia building up its presence in that Arctic Ocean region is all a part of biblical prophecy. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Babylon in this verse is speaking of the United States of America, which according to the scriptures is known as Babylon the Great, that virgin daughter of Babylon, as well as spiritual Sodom and Egypt as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8. And that north country is speaking of Russia, which besides being known as the north country in Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 9, is also known as Gog in Ezekiel chapter 38 and the Medes in Isaiah chapter 13. And the reason Russia is known as the north country is because what's north of the United States of America? You've got Canada, that Arctic Ocean region, which as we'll see from that video, Russia is building up its presence in. And then you've got Russia. Here's a map. Russia, that north country, the Arctic Ocean region, and then the United States of America. And World War III is also biblical, and during World War III, Russia is going to shoot its nuclear missiles across the Arctic Ocean region to hit its targets in the United States of America, because it's a well-known fact that Russia shooting its missiles from itself and from its assets in the Arctic Ocean region to hit its targets in the United States of America would be the shortest trajectory time for its missiles to reach the United States of America, which is also what Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 9 is talking about. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Babylon the Great taken by their arrows, which is speaking of those nuclear missiles. Because what you have to remember is that when the prophets saw these visions thousands of years ago, they didn't know what modern day nuclear missiles were. So they described it the best way they could with what they knew during their times. Ancient weapons of war, like Salakia, like bows and arrows, spears, javelins, flying swords, etc., etc. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And not only is that north country, Russia, going to shoot its nuclear missiles onto the United States of America, along with its allies like China, North Korea, and Iran, but America's own allies, such as Britain, France, Germany, and these other NATO nations are going to turn against the United States of America in that day and ally themselves with Russia and her allies to altogether shoot 200 million nuclear missiles onto Babylon the Great, the United States of America. That's that assembly of great nations from the north country, not just Russia's allies, but America's allies who are going to turn against her. And when those nuclear missiles hit the United States of America, it's going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. And seeing videos like this just goes to show that with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to this north country and that assembly of nations unto it, shooting their nuclear-tipped arrows onto the United States of America, Babylon the Great. These are some very beautiful times we're living in, Akim. As Yahushua told his disciples in Luke chapter 10, many great men and kings and prophets, roughly paraphrasing, have desired to see the days that ye see and hear them, but have not seen nor heard them, And we're living in those times they were looking for, the end of this current age of the rulership of the heathen nations and the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, where the children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to rule for eternity. But now let's get into this video.
Tonight I want to begin by showing you some pictures. Look at this. What you see looks like a spaceship landed in the middle of a desert of ice. But if you look carefully, you'll notice a Russian flag flying on top of a building. This is a Russian military base in the Arctic. It can house up to 150 soldiers. It has radar facilities, even an airfield where any type of plane can land. And this is just one base. Russia has amassed unprecedented military might in the Arctic. It has stationed soldiers, built air bases, and deployed advanced weapons. Now look at this. This is a nuclear-powered icebreaker. Russia is building 4 of these at a shipyard in St. Petersburg. These vessels will be deployed in the Arctic to assert Moscow's dominance over the region. But why the Arctic? When did the North Pole become a front? Why would Russian soldiers be stationed in the cold and barren Arctic? And why are the Russians so keen on controlling this?
Because it's ultimately through the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to fulfill biblical prophecy that North Country and that assembly of great nations unto it, shooting 200 million nuclear missiles onto the United States of America, Babylon the Great, turning it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, in a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. That's it with this clip. It goes into some other stuff. But now I'm going to go to a article on AmericanMilitaryNews.com titled, Russia Launches Hypersonic Missile Claiming Mach 7 Speed. Hey, an example of these arrows that the North Country is going to shoot onto Babylon the Great and not spare them. On Monday, Russia's Ministry of Defense announced the Russian Navy frigate Admiral Gorshkov successfully fired a hypersonic Zircon missile that reached 7 times the speed of sound, Mach 7, about 5,370 miles per hour. The Russian military showed off the missile launch in a 45-second video that included footage of the frigate Admiral Gorshkov maneuvering into position and the missile's initial launch stage. Slovakia. Russia, that North Country, conducted the missile launch in the White Sea. The Ministry of Defense said the Zircon missile traveled over 350 kilometers, about 217 miles, before achieving a direct hit on a land target located along the coastline of the neighboring Barents Sea. The 3M-22 Zircon missile, or Zircon, is a scramjet-powered anti-ship hypersonic cruise missile that Russia intends to reach Mach 9 speeds, about 6,905 miles per hour. The missile is reportedly capable of maneuvering in flight to help it avoid interception. Russia previously tested the missile in October in a test coinciding with Russian President Vladimir Putin's 68th birthday. That test saw the missile reach Mach 8 speeds, about 6,138 miles per hour. Putin praised the October launch, stating, "The Zircon project and the stage you have reported today, the successful test flight of the missile, are a major event not only for the armed forces, but also for the nation as a whole, supplying our armed forces, the Army and the Navy, with the most advanced armaments that have no analogs in the world, will reliably ensure national defenses for a long time to come, though ultimately be used for national offenses." Reuters reported some military analysts have questioned how advanced Russia's new generation of weapons, such as the Zircon missile, really are, but have warned that if they are as capable as Russia claims, their combination of speed, maneuverability, and altitude of hypersonic missiles could make them difficult to track and intercept. And it's through the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai that these Russian Edomites have created these advanced missile systems technologies which have no equal, as the article just said, with the most advanced armaments that have no analogs or equals, and it's all to fulfill biblical prophecy. These advanced hypersonic weapons that the Russians have been creating are nuclear capable and are going to be used during this upcoming Third World War and be shot onto the United States of America, Babylon the Great. And since they currently have no equals, it's going to make them that much easier to evade America's anti-missile defense systems and hit their targets in the United States of America. And also, as pursuant to Joel chapter 2, the spirit of the Most High is going to be on Russia's missiles as well as these other nations' missiles to hit the United States of America without any problems. And it's also going to be on America's anti-missile defense systems to fail in that day so those missiles can much more easily hit their targets. But now let's get back into some precepts. This is back in Jeremiah chapter 50. I'm going to jump down to verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north country, Russia, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, that assembly of great nations unto the north country, not only Russia's allies, such as China, North Korea, and Iran, but also America's allies, such as Britain, France, Germany, and these other NATO nations that are going to turn against her in that day and ally themselves with the North Country, Russia. As it says in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns, which is speaking of the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO, these shall hate the whore, the United States of America, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire, nuclear fire. They shall hold the bow and the lance. Speaking of those nuclear missiles, they are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon, the United States of America. Now I'm going to jump up to verse 40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. As I've been saying all throughout the video, 200 million nuclear missiles are going to hit the United States of America, which besides being known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, and turn it into a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland. As it says back in verse 40, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall no more inhabited and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Eventually, after the dust settles, only desert creatures will dwell in the former United States of America, and it will stand as an eternal memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looked like, how not to govern the earth, and what the punishment and judgment is for afflicting the apple of the Most High's eye, the children of Israel, who were again the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So that's pretty much it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.